Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It's Jean Brittingham at Kept in Stitches. Welcome to my stitching cottage. Let's see who is here with me already this morning. It is a beautiful sunny day out here. I hope you are having great weather wherever you are also. Good morning, Patty G. Good morning, Debbie Williams. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Laura. Yep, Laura. Good morning, Carol. Thank you all for joining me this morning. Don't forget to give that thumbs up. Good morning, Danielle. It's great to see you. Yes, good morning, everyone. So, what is everyone having for their beverage this morning? Or are some of you already done with that? Good morning, Laura. Laura, it may be Laura instead of Laura, sorry. But yeah, I'm going to wait and let a few more pop on before we start what our regular schedule is for today. But yeah, let me know what beverage you have this morning, and is the sun shining where you're at? Debbie says that she had her 2 cups of coffee and ready to go. I've still got my coffee here beside me. I'm still on my, not this full cup. This holds 2 cups, so it's halfway gone, so I'm on my 2nd cup, is what we'll say. But yes, I have my coffee beside me. And I should have brought a water out, but I forgot that. But maybe we'll get hubby to bring me one out somehow later. But yeah, Laura says it's a cup of tea and biscuits. It's 3 in Britain. It's raining, windy. The weather in Wales. Okay, Wales. That's awesome. That's a beautiful, beautiful part of the country. Would love to go there someday and visit. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. But I can dream, can't I? Good morning, Stair. How are you? Sipping water this morning. Okay. And so Terry says, good morning. Good morning to you. Good to see you. Hope you are feeling better today. I am feeling somewhat better. Of course, it's hard to tell when you're taking quite a few medications, including steroids. So, but I am able to move my head. So that's a good thing. That's an improvement. Love improvement. And Laura says, hope you do. It is lovely part of the world. Yes, it is beautiful, beautiful country. But unfortunately, I think my traveling days are over. So I will have to view that through YouTube videos and TV and other forms. But I would love to go to, let me see, I'm trying to think, to Scotland. I would love to go to the Netherlands. I would love to go to Wales. I would love to go to Australia. Those are all places that I would love to go to, but I unfortunately will never get to them. But like I said, in our dreams we can visit them. But okay, so I'm going to give just a little bit more time before we step into our schedule, which of course, I will be giving the embroidery stitch of the week. We will be going on to our next crochet stitch of the week. We do not have a block this week because that, of course, is block of the month. So you have until the first Friday in August to finish the block that I showed you last week before we start on the next one in that. But I will be working on some other things on those weeks that we aren't doing that to fill the time, and still be working on something that maybe you have some questions about and can see how I do it, that type of thing. So there'll be something else thrown in so that we can always have something different going on also. And so Terry says, are you doing a 4-hour live today? It is scheduled for a 4-hour. If it doesn't last 4 hours, that is no problem with me. We will end at whatever time we are done with everything and things are slowing down, or we've gotten through everything and there's nothing more there's always something to discuss, but nothing more that we need to discuss or whatever, then I am always up for ending early if we finish early. So, but it is planned for the 4 hour. But of course, nobody has to stay here the entire time. You can come in and out. If I'm working on something that, no, you're not interested, if you want to hop out, hop back in, no problem with that. I don't expect anybody to have to sit with me for 4 hours. However, I will be here for that time. And Christine says, hello, I made it. Well, I'm glad you made it, Christine. Glad to see you. And Terry is laughing and says, always something next to do, for sure. Yes, I have some other projects off to the side there that I will work on and show you what I am doing. And if you have questions on that type of thing, that will be there too. And that will change from week to week according to whatever I happen to be working on or what I think I might want to enjoy showing you. Sometimes it may be a happy mystery or secret. Who knows? Not a secret, because once it's out, it's no longer a secret, right? That was a little silly, but it'll be a secret until you see what it is. There, that made sense. Okay, so I am going to at least talk about and I'm going to use the one that doesn't have stitching on it. But for those of you that haven't or are just popping on for the first time, our slow stitch project started by making this grid. And our first, which it was just choosing what you want your stitchery to be on, and then marking the grid. And there are directions for that in Tip Demo Tuesday. You can find that. But then our first stitch was the back stitch where we went over that grid. So it's all ready with the rectangles that we will be doing our stitches of the week in. And of course, after you did that, you wanted to, stitching is on this one. But before you put the stitching is also the SF101, which is Shape Flex. It is a fusible interfacing stabilizer that we put on, which helps to stabilize the fabric, makes the stitches lay better, pop out better. And then, of course, it doesn't show any knots and things on the back, and your stitching will not show through to the work that way when you're done. But that is what we are doing our stitch of the week on. And you are making 2 of these. And then I will show how to make it in book form at the end also. Good morning, Donna. Nice to see you. Good morning, Heidi. And she says she made it also. I'm glad that you made it. Good morning, Laura Fuller, Earth and Art. Laura, I'm sorry, you were already here. I love using stabilizer. Yes, it makes a world of difference in your stitching. Good morning, Junebug. Welcome, welcome. So I think there are enough of you here. I'm going to go ahead and first of all, we will go over what, if we can hide that. Last week's stitch was stem stitch. I haven't done any decorative or any more down here, but those are the stem stitch there. And you can consider this, like your practice, to go back and see how you have improved and that type of thing. Or like I said, I used just this top section to do it. And then I'm going to do something decorative or different with it down here. That's just a plan for that week's. My chain stitch. Oh, I just gave away what the stitch of the week is. It is the chain stitch for this week. And that just happens to be my favorite embroidery stitch. But on it, I just drew the straight lines all the way down, and I'm just going to be doing different colors in my chain stitch going down there, making the straight lines. But this is the chain stitch. As you can see there, we'll bring it a little closer up, and that is what I'm going to be showing you and doing this morning. So if you have yours, you can always stitch along with me. If you're not, you can watch and do it later, however you enjoy doing it. And Deb is with us. Somerville is with us this morning. Good morning. Good morning. We have a lot popping on. She says, I am learning tent stitch at the moment with a tapestry kit. Chain stitch took me a few times to get the hang of it. Yes, sometimes it does, but once you get the hang of it, it is really fun and it's a really neat stitch to do, which it is a lot like the Lazy Daisy stitch as also. It's just done in sequence. Good morning, Laura Clark. Welcome, welcome. Great to see you. So I am going to pop down my lid to my laptop so that you will be able to see more clearly what I'm doing. I'm sorry I can't get it close up, but hopefully you'll be able to see and get a gist of what I'm doing. Like I have said, this is not a teaching thing. It is just an embroidery stitch of the week to where those that do embroidery will give us a weekly stitch, and that is just what we work on that week. Hopefully some of you that don't know how or aren't familiar can follow along. It will help you to learn new stitches, but I am not actually teaching the stitch as we go along. And I ordered my tools for the bunka or Japanese embroidery. Hope you feel better today. I do feel better. I'm able to move my head thanks to the medications that I'm on. That has helped. So now I'm going to, sounds exciting, Lori. Yes, it does. I am going to lower this so I won't be able to see the chat until I raise it back up again. So if I missed something you said when I pop back up, you might have to repeat it if you had a question. But I am going to lower that as much as I can. I'm going to try and hold so I don't have this to where you can't see it. I think if I keep it as flat as possible, that is the best view. But you just start with your knot on the back and bringing it straight up at the top of your line here and where you are going to be going down. So then you are actually going to go right back down where you started with your needle. And for the depth of your stitch is how far you are going to go down. And you're going to bring your needle back up. And as you bring it up, your thread is on the bottom side of that. So it will be catching that. And that's what makes the chain and is holding it in place. So on the next one, this is already your up that you started like before. And you are going then down again, right where you came up. Oops, we went a little crooked. I'm going to start that over. I was trying to look in the camera and do the stitch at the same time. That doesn't work too well. And see, that's how the needle is in there, right where I want it to come back up. And that's going to catch the thread on the bottom and make the loop. And that is the chain stitch. You just continue on down your line or however you are doing it. And I'm shaking this morning, probably from some of the medication, but I noticed that it's messing with my eyesight a little bit too, which I don't like. Hopefully that'll go away. But so just continuing to do that the same way. And you can make it as long a stitch or as short as a stitch as you want. Just try to be consistent. And I don't know why I can't catch my needle right in between here each time. But it is a very easy stitch once you get the hang of it. Comes in handy for a lot of uses also. But I'm going to bring my screen back up here, make sure that I didn't miss any questions while I was doing that. Inspirational instructions. Okay. And everybody's saying good morning to each other. and others. Stitches I know. Picking color layouts today. Okay, that'll be fun. I'm anxious to see what it is that you get and what you will be working on. And I forgot to find the one that I have still that I did many, 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 many years ago. We're talking, let me think. Oh my, we're talking 50 years ago now. That's longer than I thought. Oh no, I'm old. Hello, good morning, Sarah. Welcome. Glad you could join us. That was funny when I figured that in my head. I'm sorry. Sometimes you know you're getting older, but then you go, "Oh my goodness." When you can say that you learned something 50 years ago, I guess you are getting older. And I didn't learn it at birth, so oh, that's funny. But I actually learned, and it was called, I don't remember exactly what it was called then. I know now it is very similar to what we do as punch needle embroidery, but I did learn it when I was stationed on Guam, and I did learn it from Japanese women, and everything was printed, all the instructions and everything in Japanese, so you couldn't understand it if you didn't take an instruction course in it at that time, because of course I could not read or speak Japanese. But it was a really interesting form of stitching, I must say, because back then they actually used a thread that was very similar to the tassels on your graduation cap, is what I always think of it as. But you actually unraveled that as you went to use as your thread. So it came out with a beautiful, beautiful shiny sheen to it. It was very, very interesting. Which I forgot to put my thing back down as I'm stitching here. I'm sorry. I will put that back down while I continue down my row. I hope that you can see some of what I'm doing. I've found that if I try and hold it up here, I think you see even less, because it's just not a good view, and I apologize. I'm going to work on possibly getting some different camera angles, but I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that, because that will entail a whole nother camera, a whole nother program to be able to switch from one camera to the other. But I'm going to check into it. And I'll show you again at least the position of the needle in there. And that may help you as I'm taking the stitch, getting ready to just pull it through and catch that bottom thread that makes the loop in the chain. If I could learn to stitch upside down, that might help too, but I'm not able to do that. But at least you can, I think, can see my hands down here. If I keep it flat, I'm just bringing it up, catches that thread, go right back down in the middle where you went down before. Go down your line. And it catches and makes your loop. Looks just like a chain. If your thread starts twisting, just let it hang down and untwist. And we'll come back up here. Yes, happy packing, Sarah. I know you're getting ready to go to the house on the lake this weekend. Enjoy, enjoy. And Laura says, I'm looking forward to trying it. Not sure if it's a good thing to add to my UFO stash, but why not? I agree. Why not? You may totally fall in love with it, Lori. And Laura says, yes, why not? Indeed. Good morning, June. Welcome, welcome. Sorry. All of a sudden, my voice is leaving me. Good morning, June. And everyone is just saying hello to each other right now. Okay. I'm going to pop you back down. And of course, for anyone popping in late or whatever, later on, I will go through this. Oops. Might help to go down through here before we go down to where we're making our next loop. And I get quiet sometimes as I stitch. Well, I guess I'm pretty quiet all the time as I stitch because I'm out here by myself. So that would look funny if I was out here talking to myself while I stitch. That's why it's also fun to do this occasionally, because I do have someone to talk to on the days that I do this and enjoy your company. And it's kind of like having you in the stitching cottage with me. So I hope that you do enjoy it. And I hope that some of you are stitching and working on a project also during this time. Because after all, it is called a stitch and chat. And it is a quilting stitching bee. Done in a way that we can be together without being actually in each other's homes. I would love to be able to start, and I might have to work on that. I would love to be able to start an actual quilting stitching bee where I do have those that are local that can come over and meet. And we could possibly take turns meeting in each other's homes and doing our stitching. I've come to the end, so on this last one, you just end by taking your stitch to the back. So we'll flip it over. Don't go through the last stitch that you did. Take your needle, go under the other stitch, and go through it again, and make your knot on the back. Which I always do a double knot just to make sure. And clip it off. So there is the chain stitch done all the way down the line. Let's see. Laura says, it would be lovely to have groups in your home sharing your passion with others. Yes. And I do actually have a hand quilting frame that I could set up, and at least 4, possibly 6 could sit around it at the same time if somebody had a quilt that they wanted to have quilted more quickly than they could do by themselves. So yeah, I could set up a good old-fashioned quilting bee from time to time. And Heidi has a question. Does it matter whether the chain stitches are formed going up or going down? No, you can go whichever direction is more comfortable for you. It always felt more natural to go upward, but I'm semi-ambidextrous, so I often get my hands confused. I'm ambidextrous also, so I understand that, Heidi. But yeah, though there are ones that it's more comfortable working down, and for some, it's more comfortable working upward the other direction. So it doesn't matter. The stitch is going to come out the same way. Just so if you're in a pattern, you make sure that it's going the correct direction as you do that. But yeah, on many of the stitches, even on the back stitch, some work right to left, some work left to right. So there's no problem with that. Whatever is the most comfortable with you. And stem stitch also can be worked either direction. Good question. Thank you for asking. But I'm going to put this needle away for now, and I'm going to pull over the other section that isn't done. And just so you have an idea, after these are filled, what it'll look like is you will be putting the wrong sides together. I know that is different, isn't it? We usually always put right sides together, but on this you will be putting wrong sides together. I'll bring you down a little bit so I can see the chat and that at the same time. So all I've done is lined it up. Wrong sides together is just as close as I can get for right now. And I'm just going to put a couple little clamps on that just to keep it together so I can fold it better and show you how it will form, and that you'll be able to make a book. You can add more pages to this, so you can add other stitching and everything if you want when it's done, instead of just having it be these. Let's see a question quick. I can sympathize with coordination as I have dyspraxia, which is a hand and eye coordination difficulty. So I need to work out a way that works for me. Yes, that is very understandable. But I just have these kind of hooked together now. But what will happen is it will fold together like this. So it looks like a book. And depending on how many pages you have, then you'll be able to flip it open. You can make a cover for this, which I have this little stitchery that I made showing how to trace and use a light box, and I will be incorporating that on my cover because it says, I cannot count my day complete till needle, thread, and fabric meet. And I have a little thimble, a needle, and the thread on there, and of course, oops, in my colors. So, and it will fit nicely on whatever. And like I said, I'm sure that I will be adding more pages to do other things to this. So it'll be like a book that you can flip through. Just open the pages and see your stitching and just make a nice little sampler of embroidery stitches. So I'm going to lay that off to the side for now, but that is the plan to have for it. Fabulous. Thank you, Laura. Laura. I keep saying Laura. I think it's Laura, but we'll put a little twang to it, and then you won't know which way I'm saying it, right? Hello, yo, Patty. Okay, so that is the embroidery stitch of the week. So now you have back stitch, and you have stem stitch, and you have chain stitch. So there are 3 of them that you have been able to enjoy and practice on. And if there isn't one that you've done before, you got to do it for the first time. And if you, I do have my book here for my notes on the side. So if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to see in future things, let me know and I will jot that down, and I will either do it during a live or I will incorporate it into one of my Tip Demo Tuesdays, just so you know that am very willing to help in any way that I can on things that we do. But I'm going to just reach and pull this up for for now and get ready for our ask how many of those that are on do any embroidery stitching. We know that Lara does. I know that Debbie Williams does. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but it would be nice to know who actually does that. Or who may just be learning for the first time. Am I spinning again? Sometimes I think it's you, Terry, spinning. Yeah, let me know if I'm spinning. Good morning, everyone is saying to each other. Deb says I am spinning. I don't know why I'm spinning because it shows that I have full bars, full level on. I am spinning. Refresh when it happens. Yes, you are. But I know some of you that are saying, yes, I am, are on Apple products. And sometimes that is where the spinning comes from because it's not the same software. Had to go out and come back. Okay. I am sorry, but there isn't anything I can change at my end. And like I said, it shows that I have my full Wi-Fi. So I don't understand that. Okay. And you're on Android. Thank you, June. If it keeps happening, let me know. And I will just have to end this early. Try to come back on, and see what happens. But I don't want to go out if I don't have to. But most of you are saying if you went out and came back, then it's okay. Do not know. I'll have to check into some things after we're finished, but okay. Heidi says that her connection isn't always great. She says, I see you fine. The video quality isn't great. She's on a Windows 10 tablet. Okay. Because, of course, on my end, it's showing everything is fine. Now you are doing good. Okay. So while I am doing good, I will go on to what the crochet stitch of the week is. And, of course, our first was the single crochet foundation stitch. And then we did, last week, we did 3 rows of the half double crochet. So this week's stitch is going to be half double crochet in the 3rd loop, or also can be called the back loop, because when you do a half double crochet, there are 3 stitches that go crosswise instead of 2 as in normal ones. So I am on the end of a row. So first I am going to do my chain 1 to turn. Going to flip that over so that I am always starting a new stitch on the right side of my work. Don't want to start it on the wrong side. And that is why I had you do 3 rows of half double crochet last week. So now we are still going to start as if we're doing a half double crochet. So you're going to do your yarn over. You're going to go under the top 2, right in the hole that you normally would for your stitch. And then you are going to go. I got to think now. Got to do one. Okay, I have to think on how I catch it. How come I forgot? All of a sudden, I forgot how I do that. Go in. Okay, I dip my hook to catch that third one, and on that first stitch, it is hard to find that loop. That's why I was confused. And I'm gonna do this first one here. Okay, there is the third loop of the stitch now. And of course, a purple on purple doesn't show up too well, but I've got that third one that you're catching, and then you're going to catch your yarn. You're going to come through and then yarn over and not through all three loops. Now on this one, it's going to be a little easier. You just, if you take your hook back and forward, oops, it will catch, and I'm not finding it. I don't know why I'm having problems getting it this morning. I have to look at something. Did I not do a half double crochet? Yes, I did do a half double crochet. So why is it not catching it? Oh, the glories of live. Catching it for some reason. Good morning, Maureen. All right. There is something wrong with this. And I am beginning to think that for some reason I did a single crochet and not a half double crochet on that. But no, because it's right there. I can see it. I'm just not catching it. I caught it on that one, but I don't have my yarn over, of course. Phew. You take it to the back and push to the front, it catches it. Oh, that is funny that I did just fine last night getting it ready. So if you poke to the back, ow, and there, it's catching it. So you're going in that third one, which is down at the bottom. I'm using my finger to force that stitch on there. And if you notice, I rock my hook back to the back, and then in pushing it down. And of course, I can't do it and show real well, forcing it onto that third stitch and coming. And what that does is form a, whoops. Okay, I could hold it back in front of me better instead of holding it up so close. I think the medication is fooling with me. Can I blame it on that? Because I had no problems whatsoever normally doing this stitch. Catch it, catch it, catch it. I'm going to try and figure out what the problem is. And I can't figure out what my problem is. It's not cooperating with me. I'm sorry. Got it that time. Now come through. But I'm going to show you what it does. It makes that ridge. Can you see that? To where we have the ridge down here from where I did the stitch for practice. And then we have the ridge here. So it's making a decorative ridge by doing it in that third loop. And I just had a squirrel pop up in my notifications. I wonder why that is. No, I only do one Heidi because that makes it not have that big loop on the edge of my stitching. I never do the number of stitches that it says because that is where you have that loopy edge going on your edge. So I end up with a straighter edge by only doing one, and many only do one on a half double crochet. But thank you. But if you like to do two, you can do two. But the majority of people on a half double crochet will only do one on their turn instead. And I just wasn't going down far enough with my hook to catch that third. I don't understand at all why I'm having a problem. So we may it's getting it. I'm just not. My coordination is just thrown off. And I'm on new medication, so I'm blaming it on that. Because I usually whiz right through this. I normally whiz right through it. And it is giving me the ridge, but I'm not having fun doing that this morning. I have never done crochet before. Okay. Yeah, and some patterns are written saying one, some patterns are written saying two. If you watch YouTube videos on it, a lot of them use one. Some will occasionally use two. So that, again, is all a matter of preference. And like I say, I always, even on the double crochet, treble crochet, all of those, I always do one stitch less, or I will do an extended, what is a different term, an extended stitch on the end so that you don't have the loopy, uneven edges. And Donna Dixon says that she loves to crochet. That is nice to know. Right now, I'm not loving it because I have no idea why all of a sudden I am having a problem picking up that other loop, but it is doing it every time for me. And it normally just slips right on there, which it is right there, but it's not coming up as easily as it normally does and should. I should already be done with this entire row by now. Maybe I should be spinning myself. Oh, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. What did they say about the best laid plans? We're getting there, but we're getting there in a long way. Um, I do not remember at all. I just and I didn't chain. It was the foundation single crochet first of all for our first row. So it wasn't a chain and then a single crochet. It was a foundation single crochet, which is a different way of starting, which was the first one. Um, and you can go back just in the beginning of the replay of that and catch that. But what I said was there is, I mean, however wide you want to make yours is how many you will put on. I'm just making a small version. So I just went to where, oh, that looks about right. And that's how I stopped because it is not a pattern that we are following. We are just learning different stitches each week. So you can do, if you want to do a wider Afghan, that's fine. If you want to do even a smaller and just have it as a sample piece, that's just fine. So there is no set number on how many that we start with. Yes, I am using variegated yarn and I'm using a bulky weight. I'm using a number 5 bulky weight and this is what I'm using. It is Charisma is the name of it. It's Loops and Threads, which is a yarn that is normally found at Michael's. It's what I had. Still hurts when I bend over. It's what I had. That was easy to get at. And then I also have a purple one to add to it in between because I wasn't sure that I would have enough of this one to finish. And I'm just making a smaller lap size because it will be given to charity when I am finished. And this is why I have so many UFOs. It's too easy. I'm not challenged. And if it's too hard, I don't want to finish it. Well, this is normally not hard. I am pretty sure that it has something to do with the medications that I am on right now, that I am having a problem because I usually whiz right through it. But for some, it could be hard. Need to work on my perseverance as it is related to stitching. Okay, makes sense. I don't knit or crochet, never got to learn. So I will just hang out with you guys and maybe learn something. And Donna says that the yarn is pretty. Thank you. And June also says that it is pretty. Thank you. I've had it for several years. And when I say it was easy to get to and was already down, which was some that I have stored in a cabinet in my husband's workshop because I run out of room in places sometimes. But for those that haven't seen, I will show my loft of shame, shall we call it. And when I show you this, keep in mind that that is 4 deep in what I am showing you, and it's all yarn stacked and stored there. That is all yarn except for the little pillow on the end there. That is actually polyfill stuffing for when you make animals and stuff, things like that that need stuffing. But yeah, it goes on all the way there, but that is all yarn up there. So now if I can get this back here, there. I showed you my hall of fame, my loft of shame that I keep hidden most of the time from view. And I have yarn in the house and all over besides what is up there. Right now, I don't go up there because it takes an extension ladder to reach up there and get, and that's just not something I am doing right now. And Donna says, I have a closet full of yarn. Kelly's Cruises and Crafts says, hi, welcome, Kelly. I'm super late, but it's only 7:50 a.m. for me. I know those of you that are in the area in the West Coast and that, I know it is early for you. I had someone teaching crochet to me in my 20s. I felt like a new bird without a nest. She had no patience and didn't motivate me to want to learn. Never got back on board with crochet. I'm sorry. That's too bad. I have taught crochet a lot, and that's why I don't understand why I'm having a problem this morning, other than the fact that I was in the emergency room yesterday. I am on some strong steroid medication and a couple other medications that they gave me and changed, so that's what I am blaming it on. May take some time to get my coordination and everything back, but everyone is saying hello. But I am going to try this down and see if it's just the way that I'm holding it up there that is causing the problem for me this morning. See if it gets easier as I go on. But it is for some reason, of course, since I've got it down lower and that you can't see, it's working. Okay, so we'll lower a little so you can see as I go, but so I can see if chat moves. See, and as soon as I brought you down, it doesn't want to catch it again. It's you guys. That's funny. That is funny. So if I just pretend you aren't here, we'll get it every time. But I have found the secret to this stitch that makes it easier is I am bringing my crochet hook all the way to the back and then pushing through on that. And of course, it didn't do it again. To catch that third loop, and every time I bring it up to show you, it doesn't want to catch it. I think I'm holding it too tightly. There it is. So I'm going to keep it down here. And at least try to get to the end of this row so I can show you what you do next. I hate that if I'm trying to explain something and then it won't work. I know. And this is the first time that has happened for me. So, like I say, I normally have no problem whatsoever. But today, it is a problem. And as soon as I bring it, if I don't say anything about it, it's working, but I do need to check and see. See on my notes for sure what I did. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Ooh, high def video streaming just now. Okay. We go from spinning to high def, huh? Oh, I think I'm totally spinning this morning. Good morning, Gisela. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so I'm wishing I had a shorter row here right now since this is decided to not cooperate with me. Oh. We will hope on the next one that it works more easily. For those that you are popping on right now, we are doing the we are attempting to do the crochet stitch of the week. For some reason, I'm having problems this morning. I'm blaming it on my medication. And Kelly says, my mom always says, if there is no logical reason why something isn't working, you're holding your tongue wrong. You know, I've heard that, or you're holding your mouth wrong. Hear that all the time. How is my neck doing? Well, because of the medications and everything that they gave me, Gisela, which I'm on a steroid medication and a couple other medications, I am at least able to move my head. I still have pain. I still can't, the bending over and stuff and moving too much. It's still painful, but it's getting better. And I'll be on the steroids for at least, I think it's 6 days or whatever. So we'll see at the end of the 6 days how I feel. That'll be a better way of telling. But yes, at least I can move my head now. At least I feel like I can sit up, that type of thing. So thank you for asking. Kelly, my mom too. Move your tongue to the other side, except in the middle. I can't work at the moment because our website is down. The tech team is working on it. Oh, I'm sorry, Kelly. And Laura says, even now I can find threading the needle through can still be tricky at times. Yes, definitely. I mean, there are, days that, threading that needle is no problem at all. And other days it's just like, man, why can't I get it to go through? I mean, and I have several different needle threaders that I use, and sometimes none of those will help either. So, yeah. Yep. Let me see. We'll move my tongue around. We'll see if then it helps. Thank you, Gisela. And Stairs says, had one of those days last week. My 6-year-old grand and I making brownies. When pouring the mix into the pan, she asked why we didn't break eggs in. Oops, back into the mixing bowl. Well, that was good that she realized you hadn't put eggs in. That's pretty good for a 6-year-old to remember. And it's good that oops, come on, actually caught it before you bake them. I like that though. Why didn't we break eggs in? They like the breaking of the eggs for some reason, don't they? It seems like when you're teaching a little one or they're watching you with cooking. Boy, I just can't figure out why this is being so difficult with me. And there is Kathy. Good morning, Kathy. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Jean Not Doing So Well Stitching show of the day. Say, I can joke with myself and admit when, for some reason, things just aren't going well on the crochet stitch of the week, which I just had it and dropped it coming through. Okay. And I forgot to drop that a little bit again so that you could see. Sorry when I forget to do that. You think you have it and you look up and it's not there. There it is. But I really do believe that it has something to do with being on the stupid medication. Yes, the squirrels have invaded the cottage. We can't see them, just see their effects. LOL. Right. I think they took this, and when I did the stitch last night to prepare, I think they took it out and did something different with it, because I think that's the problem. But because it is so funny that it is not working the way that it is supposed to, and we will see on the next round if that's the problem, because I'm chasing the squirrels away right now. They tried to come in. Remember, there was a notification with the squirrels on it, so they're letting me know that they're here and ready to take over at any time. That's funny. Thank you, Christine. At least she knows there are squirrels that come to my cottage quite often. Oh, there's even pink squirrels that come. And there will probably be more pink squirrels. One of these days, I'm going to have one and I'm going to show you, so you know I'm not crazy. Although I'm sure some of you think that I am totally crazy this morning. So this row is taking a little longer than expected, but we're going to get there. Perseverance. See, you are learning perseverance and patience this morning, because I'm not giving up because I'm having a problem. I am continuing on and getting to the end of this row. Debbie says it was like the shoemaker and the elves. The squirrels were at work while you were nodding off in your recliner. LOL. Oh, that could be it. They decided, let's do a different stitch for her so she doesn't realize that that's the problem. Let's put a little glitch in the system. But I'm getting closer to the end. So, and then we will go on to something else, take a break for, well, no, I have to tell you what the next row is so that you will be ready, because we are making this so it comes out into a nice decorative stitch on the one side, which we are doing a half double crochet in the back loop right now. And it isn't cooperating when I was trying to show how you get that back loop. And of course, when I'm not showing, it's working. The minute I go to try and show you, it's not working. Just like that. But we're getting there. Bye-bye, Sarah. Thank you. And I hope that you have an awesome weekend up at the lake, and also continued prayers for your sister's little baby. See, I'm not even able for some reason. I normally go by feel, and for some reason, I'm not even able to feel that this morning. Do you suppose my problem from my neck is moving down? Deciding to invade another portion of the body? Let's hope not. Let's hope not. I shouldn't have even said that. That's not a good thing to say out loud. Well, come on. It's keeping me from, and of course now I have to bend because, oh, my thing of yarn dropped into the wrong place there. Hey, Kathy is saying hello to Miss Debbie. Someone is definitely teaching me patience this morning. And I'm normally not this quiet. And Gisela says she got company. Sorry, have to go. Okay, Gisela, thank you very much for popping in the time that you could. Have a great time with your company. Oh, I like that. Absolutely, Christine. Happens. It most certainly does. And at the most inopportune times. We live near a lake as up in the valleys with the mountains too. Oh, wow. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. If my shoulders tightened up, my neck and back follow. Okay. Mine started in my neck, not my shoulders or anything, and then it went in up into my head and down to below my shoulders. But okay. But it's all going to get better. I have faith. It'll go away. This is something that I periodically have a problem with from time to time. So it's not new to me. It's nothing new. I know it will go away for usually a long period of time before it likes to rear its nasty head and let me know that it's still there. So just one of the things that I learned to adapt and put up with in life. I had an injury in the military at the age of 18. I won't go into the details of that, but just so you know, have a little history. I had a major injury at the age of 18 when I was in the military, and I have had problems with pain, severe pain, ever since then. And like I said, that's, 50 years ago. So 50 years of living with chronic pain problems. I have learned to adapt part of life. You don't give up, you don't give in, you just adapt, you live with it, and you go on. Because I still want to live and have a life. Happy Laundry Day. Okay. It's frustrating because you get on a roll without pain and make plans and then poof. Yeah, it can change your plans, but with other things and my husband, we don't make plans anymore because I'm also the sole caregiver of my husband. Young age, have serious injuries. Sorry to hear that. My husband used to be in the forces but had to leave due to mental health. I'm sorry, Laura. And Christine says, same here, except my son was able to get in the attic and shoo them out. Shoulders fixed the, should have fixed the hole on the way out, LOL. Oh, okay. I must have missed something. Oh, Maureen says we had squirrels too. They were in the roof. There was a crawl space. We tore off the whole top of the house. They were nuts. They used to fight like crazy. Okay. Just so you know, when I say I have squirrels in the cottage, I literally do not have real squirrels in the cottage. just so you know. I have imaginary squirrels that come to visit and do funny things. Oh, I'm sorry that you had rural squirrels in your attic because I hear they can be a little tough to get rid of. Yeah, but I don't want anybody thinking I really have squirrels in here. We have the kind of squirrels in here that like to distract you, take your attention away, interrupt, and do things to your projects when you're not looking. They look so cute on the lawn, but they are basically a rat with hair. You guys are funny. Oh, don't make me laugh too much because it does hurt to laugh. But that's okay. I'll laugh anyway. I like a good laugh. Like bats in the belfry? Yep. Thank you, your husband, and you for his service. Yes. Oh, yes. I've had real squirrels in the house too. Destructive rodents. Oh, God, I can only imagine. That would be terrible. That would be terrible. We don't have as many squirrels around our neighborhood as we used to because we did have a tornado that came through and it took out a lot of trees. So at that time, a lot of the squirrels moved on to other locations and don't seem to have found their way back, which is probably because there aren't the trees for them to get into, but we used to have a lot of squirrels, and our dogs would come out and chase them down the fence line. It was funny. It was funny when the squirrel would try to go so fast to get away from them and then fall off the fence running. fun to watch. Or something. Our sweet, he made it up until the training period, but didn't serve out in the field, as it were. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was able to serve my 4 years. I did not re-enlist, not because of the injury and that, but I didn't re-enlist because I met my then husband-to-be, and I got out so that we could get married. Now I wish I had stayed in and retired so that I would have had that extra retirement income. Good morning, Brenda. Welcome, welcome. We're having the slower version of showing the crochet stitch of the week right now because it isn't wanting to cooperate with me. Not when I'm trying to show you anyway. Oh. We're going to hope on the second half when I do this again that it does better, but we're getting there just in a longer way and a little bit of a problem this morning. And like I said, I'm blaming it on the medication. Wow. This one doesn't want to work for me at all. We only see gray squirrels in the forest, thankfully, where we live, and they tend to stay there. Well, that's good. Very good. I do a lot of joking about squirrels in the cottage and posts a lot of pictures of that I find that are funny things of squirrels, but I don't actually have real live squirrels in my cottage. They are the funny little ones that like to do like the elves and come in and mess around with your projects or take your attention away from what you're supposed to be doing. That type of thing. And I guess we got on the subject because I'm blaming them of coming in and doing something to my stitching last night after I got it all ready. And that's the reason it's not cooperating with me. That and being under the influence of new medications. And sorry that so quiet while I'm doing it right now, but okay. Made it to the end. And you can see that the design is actually on these 2 rows. Now the stitches are making a ridge, and that's what happens when you work in that 3rd loop of the half double crochet. Just for grins and giggles, I'm going to, and we want that all to be on the same one. So what you are going to do next is you are going to just do a regular row of half double crochet, so that we are again working on the wrong side now. We want our decorative stitch to be on the right side. So we are doing an additional row of just regular half double crochet. And that is where we take our yarn around, go in our stitch, catch it, yarn over, and go through all 3 loops. And that is the half double crochet, which we did last week. And I'm not going to do that entire row right now. I'm going to put that down, take a break from this, and just move on to something that we can chat and have a question answer session for a bit. So we will move that out of the way. In case there are any, I have that ready for any notes. Pop that back up so I can see that better. It's hard to talk and work sometimes. Yes, it is. And also be live and watch the chat going by and answer the questions at the same time. But you get used to it, so it's not as bad. But lovely design. Thank you, Laura. And Heidi says, well, I am stitching too, so you can imagine my concentration face. Okay, I like those faces. And the one thing that I was going to say, I forget who it was that had the problems when she was being taught to crochet and got frustrated and whatever, is whenever someone is having a problem, when I teach in person, and they can't quite figure out, what they're doing wrong, why they're not getting the stitch and everything, is to make sure that it's okay with them first, because, people have different issues and sensitivity issues and everything. But I will come up from behind them in their chair and actually stand behind them, put my arms around to the front so they can see close up and in the way that you are doing it, exactly how I'm doing the stitch, and do it in slow motion, and keep doing that so that they can work at the same time and see it just exactly in the position that you are actually doing the stitch. And that really seems to help with most people. And so that is how I always stitched, and people went, wow, it made a big difference in them being able to see how it was done. I watched a free crafty video yesterday. They crocheted a Christmas light bulb pillow. Y'all making me want to run home and crochet a beanie. Yeah, I have crocheted many many hats. I used to crochet for cancer, so did a lot of hats and a lot of smaller afghans. Good morning, Nancy. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. Great idea. You sound like a fabulous teacher. Wish you would have been my textile teacher at school. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. I always try to come up with ways that are easier, and I know the view on here is not great, but that is something I continue to try and work with and get different. And of course, when it's not live, you can have better and different angles also when you don't have the correct equipment. That's a great idea to come in behind them. My mom learned how to knit from her left-handed neighbor. They didn't look through the process in a mirror. Right. Yep. Just sit across from each other and you see it the way that it works. Okay. So what I am going to do for our what would be the time for working on the block of the month, which we did last week, and the next one's not due, like I said, until the first week in August. So I am going to pull out what I have been working on, my one slow stitching project, but also during this time, if you have any questions of any kind, or you have any suggestions that you would like to see done in a Tip Demo Tuesday or anything like that, let me know. Questions I will try and answer right now. If I can't, I will research and get back with an answer. But I do have my pad, and I did have my pen. Yep, it's there. So I can write down those also. But that is what we will be doing right now. So, and for those of you, I brought out a few other things. This is a large. You don't normally work on something, oops, sideways. You don't normally work on something this large for a slow stitching project. And it's also on white. So it's hard for you to see, but that is what I have been working on and is almost completed. And I know yesterday some of you that are here suggested that I use that in the middle of a quilt. Don't know that I'm going to do that, but that was a nice suggestion. But we will see what I end up doing with it. But just to give a better idea for those of you that don't know what slow stitching is, it is embroidery. I mean, it's just another form of embroidery. And Debbie says, yes, it is much prettier in person. Debbie gets the benefit of seeing things that I do in person. Debbie, for those of you that don't know, started out as a friend coming over, but she did not quilt, and I have taught her to quilt. There are some things she still is learning from times, but she mainly, for the most part, with a little help, works on her own now. But she comes over 1 to 2 times a week and is on the other side of my sewing cabinet. There's another little desk area there, and that is where she is stitching along with me and chatting and having a good time. So she gets to see everything I do up close and personal and in person. Unless there's something I'm working on that I may not want her to see for whoever knows what reason, that's put away and she doesn't see it while she's here. Some surprises once in a while come out. But my neck is feeling better to where at least I can turn my head farther. There's still issues with it, but it is getting better. Thank you, Brenda. And Laura says she loves slow stitching and the flower is beautiful. Thank you. But for those of you that don't know, and there is no rhyme or reason, I guess it goes this way. But the first thing that you do, and this is a very simple one, and these are just blue leftover pieces of fabric that are stitched down on a background. And I do also have the SF 101 on the back of this. But then these are just little squares cut up of fabric that were put on there randomly. And now the stitching is turning them in, oops, get that up there, is turning them into flowers. And it's just random. You just decide at random what you want to do and how you stitch on that. So that is one example of slow stitching, and I am still working on that one. And then this is something that actually started in the group. I'm not sure too many are actually stitching along on that, but it's still in the files, and it is an ongoing process, so can be started at any time. But before we get to that, which this is a book that was shown how to put together, and it's kind of, like the one, depends on how many pages you add, but I'm trying to flip. But there's several pages on this, and it will be one that the things like this one that will be trimmed down, it will be attached to one of those pages then. And it will be a book of slow stitching projects that you can just flip through from time to time and show off your stitching however you want, or it's like a little sampler quilt, but it's done in book form instead. So this is one that has, if you can't see, these are pearls that have been stitched down on here. There's a button there, and there's little beads that go around that to embellish. This is the one, and I'm holding it upside down. It actually goes that direction. Sorry. But this fabric down here, which this is an antique hanky that you probably can't see, of course, because I do a lot of white on white, beige on beige. There you can see it. But that flower is cut out of an antique hanky. All of these colonial knots that are done here, the fabric had little tiny dots on it. So I decided to do the colonial knots on every one of those dots in the fabric. This was a circle, so it was done as a circle around there, a circle around there. But that's how that part was then embellished. And this, of course, is the button flower down here. This is like the feather stitch going out on here, and then the beadwork on it. Just adding things. And this is cut out of a little leaf fabric, the raffia on it and stitched down. And just like I said, you just decide, and the background, of course, was done first. There's buttonhole stitch going down a piece of lace here that I just noticed. But you just add things, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. You just make it as you go. Have you ever stitched monograms? Been watching videos on them? No, I haven't. Well, as a monogram, yes, I have, which that's just, doing the stitching of lettering, but in the monogram style. So yes, I have. I had to think about that one for a minute. Kathleen is on. Good morning, Jean. I pray you're doing better today, sweetie. Thank you. No pain. No, it's not a no pain day. And to be honest, I never have a no pain day. I live at a level 7 of pain on the scale every day. So I never am without pain. I will say that. I have better days than some, or worse days than some, but average is living at a pain level of 7 for me every day. Howdy, friends, she is saying, I'm working on a fabric book now using wire and thread stump work. Yes, I have seen that, Laura. I love it. I saw that just recently, and like I need another thing to do, but I think I will probably get into some of that also. Stump work, they call it. Want to use it with clay too. Okay, that would be very interesting. Very interesting. I would love to see some of that. Do you have a YouTube channel, Laura? I'll have to check. I'll have to click on your name later and see, because that would be interesting to follow and see. And Kathleen says, sadly, Jean, I know exactly what you're saying. High pain daily. But we do get accustomed to dealing with it, sadly. Yes. I wouldn't use the word accustomed. I would say adapt. We have our way of adapting and going on. Yes. I'm not going to give up and sit in a chair and moan and groan and go, oh, woe is me. Life goes on. So you learn to adapt, especially when it's, been from the age of 18. Yes, you learn to go on, and there are just good days and bad days. Always a pain day, though. Okay, so what I was going to show next, because this is going to be in the book, but it is going to be more of a planned slow stitching, and it is going to be of family photos and stuff that I'm doing, which this is an old photo of my husband and I, so that is cut out and in the middle, and there's a silver braid that I put on here. And then this is actually, what stitch did I do that? It's just a back stitch of red going around there and a red button on here. And that is because, to remind me that the dress I wore, because I printed it in black and white, is actually a red dress. But then I just embellished in the fabrics that I used, doing lazy daisies to make flowers on there. Each one of the hexies has a different stitch going around it and that type of thing, and just doing different stitches as I went on. But that is, all of those are going to be a planned book that I have different pictures that are some of my favorite family pictures, the grandkids and my sons and part of our life, that has been on. So that will be a book of family photos. So that shows you some smaller ideas than of what slow stitching is. And of course, this, if you're interested in making a book, which these are the pages that these, you can see that it fits right on there. Those that will be attached with stitching along that page, and then they will all be in there, and you'll be able to flip, and there's several pages on there, and it will have a cover also. But how to make this book is in the files section in my Facebook group, so you can find that there if you are interested in doing that and stitching along in that. And these are, I forgot that these were even in here. These are a couple that are brighter, little ones that are started just with some stuff. No stitching on them yet, just an idea of what may be done, and a background. And there's another one. So, and that is with using a stamp that I have, and stamping for having something for some type of theme on it. But we'll put those back in there so I don't get lost on them. And just to keep my hands busy now for a while before we go on and show the stitching again. And that stupid crochet stitch. You like how it's not a stupid crochet stitch. I'm sorry. It just wasn't cooperating with me. And Kathleen says that, okay, Brenda, Nancy, see where I left off. That is gorgeous. Thank you. Yep, my stressed mid-high school genetic mess typed with being crushed by a 40-ton vehicle 4 times plus. Wow. And I ache completely and not going to lay down and let it happen. I'm going to happen to my pain. Okay, yeah. You're going to not let the pain get you down. I understand. I call myself a mixed media artist, as do a bit of everything. Yes. I guess most of mine is stitching. I do other things too, but yeah, that's why I am kept in stitches, because I don't just quilt. I do a full array of different types of stitching. So yeah, I understand that. I do a lot of different things, and then some things that don't have to do with stitching, of course. But hello, Miss Darlene, Miss Kino No Show. I see your 3 little hands up there. LOL, man, the typo this morning were none to I had coffee. The autocorrect and must not like it. LOL. That's funny. I tried my best to get through that one, though. And then you say LOL. Sorry. Typos. I'm going to give my pain heck, not going to let it dictate my days when I can help it. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, we learn to go on. And yes, there are days that we just cannot cope and do end up in an emergency room because, yes, something had to be done because, yeah, yesterday I could not even walk. I could not move. I couldn't get up and down out of a chair by myself. When I got up. I did go to the emergency room very early in the morning. In fact, Debbie Williams is the one that came over to give us a ride because my husband can't drive, and no, there was no way that I could drive. So she came over yesterday and took me to the VA. That's the only place I go, to the VA emergency room. And yeah, they took care of me and at least got me to a pain threshold that I could function. I did great getting through that. Thank you. Oh, okay. Okay. But what I am doing now is I actually very lightly with pencil, because I kind of want to make it look like through the top portion of this is sky and the bottom portion is the grass or yard, whatever that this flower is in. I just have some curved lines that I've got a scallop ruler for one of my quilting rulers that I used and traced some curved lines on here. So that is what I think. I have a couple of them over here, if you can see the curved lines like this that I'm now stitching in the background. And they're just like, like a big stitch. It's not actual hand quilting. It's still slow stitching, doing like an embroidery running stitch. But that is what I am working on here now. And I'm doing the sky first on both sides, and then I'll switch to the green and do the green. But this is more of a mindless stitching. So that is what I am going to work on for a while we just chat, and then go back later for those that pop on later to do the I did that yesterday. I put the gripper on the wrong finger and put my thimble on backwards on the wrong one, but we'll get there. And I see that oh, did my chat move to a different thing? Okay, no. Okay, Kathleen says, oh, that's wonderful that they could help. You can't do that here in call. They think everyone is dope seeking. No, they know that I'm not, because I normally refuse what they want to give me. So they know that I am not there to get drugs. That is the one nice thing, because yes, there are a lot that do that. I'm glad you're moving better today. Thank you. And welcome, Sandra K. Been lurking while I start my day. All right. Very good. Thank you for popping in. Sorry to hear that, Kathleen. Prayer hugs your way. Yes. To everyone that has. I know there are lots of us that have problems. So we all wish each other the best and pray for each and every one. Oh, thank you, Laura. She says she appreciates them. Surgery next Wednesday. I need them. Oh, I'm sorry, Kathleen. We will definitely be praying for good results. And Laura says, okay, we'll remember that day. And hi, Kathleenie. I like that. Kathleenie. And I got to unwind my thread. I wind it around my needle so it doesn't catch on things when I'm not working on it. Okay, it doesn't matter. That's the point. If you need pain meds, they just are fearful to give it. But I have a good doc. Yes, I have very good doctors, and we have a very, very, very good VA here. They are pretty awesome. And yes, I have amazing doctors right now that totally understand. Also understand that I am a sole caregiver and therefore cannot live in a doped la la land. So they definitely, whoops, how did that happen? I have never, ever, ever, ever had that happen. I thought that the end of the needle actually broke, but it didn't. But the thread came right out of it. That doesn't make sense. Okay, we'll just rethread it. But it felt like the eye of the needle broke. Where are you located, Jean, by the way? I love your name, Wink. It's my middle name. I am located in Ohio, and I live just outside of Dayton, if you're familiar with Dayton, which that is where the VA is located that I go to. It was the first VA ever made, ever built, ever made. But yeah, so if you're not familiar with where Dayton is, most people are familiar with Columbus and Cincinnati. I live between Columbus and Cincinnati. I am originally from Minnesota. Okay, so while we chat here, I'm just going to do a little work on this for a while, and then later on I will go back, like I said, and for those that weren't here earlier, because this is a longer format, I will go over what the embroidery stitch of the week is and what the crochet stitch of the week is again. And I may show you what I have got done so far on Over the River and Through the Woods. Which next week I will probably do some of the work on that during this live also. On the weeks that we don't have the block of the month, I can fill in with other stuff. So that will be the plan. Yes, that is one of Yo Patty's wrist ones. It's just connected on there. And of course, I, have my turquoise, pink, and yellow clips on it. And I have my special fancy pins in there that are the turquoise, pink, and yellow also. But I ordered that from Yo Patty G, and it is one of her beautiful creations. And of course, she will make in the colors that you request, which mine is done in yellow, turquoise, and pink. But I think you can see it pretty well there. And these are the leaves that all the clips are attached to, and that's what the leaves are made for. So it can hold your pins and your, I know they're not called clips, there's something else, but I can never remember the name, and that's what I call them. Oh, and I'm at the end of that already. So need to knot it. Bury my thread, which I don't know why, since I could have just done it on the back, but that's what I'm used to doing, so I will do it. And everyone is still just saying hello. Yes, it is very pretty. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I think I still have enough thread for a while. Not much. But I'll go up on this one and start. I'll tilt it a little so you can maybe see what I'm doing, and I can still see the chat. And of course, it's not going to show up way over here, but at least you can see my hands working. And you know that I'm really doing something down here. But I think we are going to have a hot day here today. It is 81 degrees right now. The sun is out. I'm not sure whether we're supposed to have storms or not, because I didn't really get a chance to watch the weather. I hope not. I don't mind if we get a little rain, because we have grass seed down, so it would be nice if we got the rain to help that. and to not have to get the hose out and water all the flowers and the few little, well, they're not little pots, they're big pots that I did container gardening in this year instead of the garden, because I just could not do the garden anymore. That's how I felt last time, backing out of that. So it's like, no, did away with the garden and just put the tomato plants, cucumber plants in great big container pots on the patio instead. And did have one ripe cherry tomato already. There's a few more that should be getting ripe here shortly. And I'm trying to remember if that was you, Lara Fuller, the Earth and Art. I'm not sure whether that was you or someone else that had a video showing their garden and flower beds and stuff last night that I watched. But I know it was very plush and beautiful. Getting through this portion quick. Those lines are short. Doesn't take much time to stitch through them. Yes, I hope we'll be storm free too. Don't mind the rain, but don't like the storms. And that is too short to work with. And I think that thread is over there. Oops. That was a longer reach than I wanted. Forgot to put that thread out there where I could get at it. And I like to work with Valdani pearl cotton in the different weights. This is size 8. I work with size 12 and 8 for the most part. And I am using a size 7 embroidery needle right now for my work on this one, because the thread will go through that size. When I work with wool, then it's the chenille needles, usually a 22 or a 24, because I'm using the thicker with that. And it won't thread. Is what you're working on something you thought of yourself and draw out on a piece of paper? It is actually one that I saw on Pinterest, and there wasn't any information or pattern. So I drew it out similar to that one and am working on it. I will not claim it as an original piece because it is one that I did see, but couldn't find a pattern or anything for it or any information on it. So I decided to draw it out, and everything on it isn't exactly the same, but it is similar. Most of them, though, I start from scratch and just do whatever. So, but this one, I did see something similar on Pinterest. I look at Pinterest all the time. So, good question, Jean. And I don't believe I saw you pop on. I must have missed you, Jean. I'm sorry. Welcome. No, it wasn't us, sadly, as we rent our garden is steep plus the soil very rocky plus a lot of clay. Good for me, lol, okay. But no goof for my hubby as studying in garden design. Not good for your hubby, okay, because he's studying garden design. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Wasn't sure, but I know it. The name is close to the same as yours, and that's why I wasn't sure. She has the name Earth and something in her YouTube name. But I was envious because it was a beautiful, beautiful garden and flowers. But looked like she had a rather large area to work with. And I didn't tilt it back down, but hello, Susan. Welcome, welcome. You say you're joining late, but I wanted to see what you're stitching and support your channel. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Susan. I appreciate it very much. Right now, I'm just working on a slow stitch project that I have put to the side many times as I'm working on something else. That happens a lot in my stitching cottage because I have so many things that I have to be working on that a lot of the things that I want to be working on get put to the side very often. But this is one I've been working on periodically and quite a bit more here lately trying to complete it. But actually I have an embroidery stitch of the week and a crochet stitch of the week that I showed earlier, but this is just a break time in between that, and I will be showing that again for ones that came on late and didn't see it. The embroidery stitch this week is the chain stitch. And the crochet stitch this week is the half double crochet in the back loop or the third loop. It can be called either one. Just a preference of what people call it. It's the same thing. And there is a block of the month. That block was given last week. The blocks for that are always on the first Friday of the month. So that will be when the next one is shown. And I do actually make the block during the live. So if any questions or anything arise, you can see how I am doing it. This is a bigger slow stitch project than normal, but hello, Lisa. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. How are you today? Well, now I'm on the edge of my desk trying to get my needle to come up. That doesn't work too well either. I ran out of room. What's nice is when you get to the point, I baste with safety pins. I don't baste with thread and needle. But it's nice when you get to the point that you can remove them so you don't have to worry about your thread getting caught on them. As occasionally happens. We all know, any of us that stitch. Where I can remove the hot one now. I usually don't close them. I have, you can probably see back here what I keep my safety pins in, and I keep them open so that you don't have to keep opening them, is an old Parmesan cheese container. And so you can just flip the lid, dump them out, flip the lid, drop them back in. But that's what I use to keep my curved safety pins in that I use for basting and stuff. Extra tip there. You guys are awful quiet. Nobody has any questions. I bought a large bobbin spool from Amazon to do some slow stitching with something fun. Sorry, I can't figure out what word is in between there. Try my best. Bought a large bobbin spool. A bobbin spool of some type of thread, Laura? And Lori Clark says, I've decided to attack my paperwork today. Get to fun later after work is done. Yes, that's normally how my day goes too. I get what I need to get done. I am someone who doesn't sleep, so I'm up late and I'm up early in the morning. So I've been known to do things very late at night also. But I always try to get things that need to be done first thing in the morning before coming out to the cottage. That way I don't feel guilty that the other work hasn't been done. I actually baked cookies at midnight last night. Oh, be fun. Okay, gotcha. No problem. The piece of fabric will be sewn onto the large bobbin by wrapping it over. Okay, I gotcha. I know exactly what you're talking about now. Yes. I have some antique wooden bobbins that I hope to do that with. I don't know why I didn't think of that in the first place. Laura, because I see those all the time and they are really neat and another great way to display your work. And Kathy says, what? No swimming today, Lori? Oh, I would love an antique one. Yeah, they're hard to come by. I wish I would have been doing this type of stitching when I was working at the one place I was, because it was a place that manufactured rope and different types of things, and they actually used a lot of wooden spools, and I'm sure I could have gotten my hands on many of them while I was working there, but I wasn't doing that type of stitching then. I came across mine at an auction. They were in a box with other stuff, so I bid on the box, and luckily I got it. That is how I got mine. And Lori says she hopes to get in first. Kathy, yes, Kathy went swimming yesterday. She had a blast. It was so much fun. Oh, I'm glad that you got to do that, Kathy, because you have been waiting so long and wanting to do that. I'm clapping and excited for you. I'm glad you had fun and that it worked for you. And then Lori says, I hope to get in the pool, cloudy and cool today. And Kathy says, yes, I went swimming yesterday. Yeah, we're all excited that you got to do that, Kathy. Did the way you were going to get in and out work well for you, Kathy? I'm looking at the clock because I realize no matter what I plan to do, I don't think it is going to fill the full 4 hours. So I think I will probably reschedule this to a 3-hour live instead of 4 hours. And if it goes over, it goes over. But at least it won't be trying to fill that extra hour when it's not needed. Because I like to keep it doing something and informative the full time and planned and structured. So as I look at the clock and realize, okay, what else I have to do, I know it is not going to take the full 4 hours. Got my edge under there. Don't want to end up sewing it together the other side since it's folded because the laptop is sitting here in the way. We're all excited for you, Kathy. Whoops. Say eventually I'm going to have to switch to a different type of stitching for a while because which that one does have a blood spot on it, but the fingers are getting a little bit worn on the underside. And they will get too sore and I'll have to take a break and let them cool down a bit. Jen got a video of me in the pool. Yay. And Heidi says, I must go. Laundry is calling and tummy is grumbling. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you, Heidi. And thank you for hanging in and joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day. Which I'm going to switch out in a bit here. Boy, that is white on there. Oh. Note to self. Don't use white for a background on something you want to show on a YouTube live or a video. It doesn't like to show up. And I don't normally use white as a background on anything I do, but it's what I had, so it's what I used. There's actually a little bit of print in this white. It's not pure white. I don't use solids hardly ever in anything that I do. I don't own solids. I will use things that are tone on tone that, if you need a solid, they appear to look like a solid, but they're not. Which that is what this is. It has a grayish tone, something that just looks, I don't know. It kind of resembles a batik, but it's not a batik. And I got quiet because I temporarily can't think of anything to say. Wow, that's unusual for me too. Just ask Debbie. Huh? I always have something to say. Oh, see, I tell on myself. I don't need anybody to tell on me. I always tell it like it is. I'm a, what you see is what you get. And when I get to the end of this one, hopefully I think I got enough thread, I will switch back over. You got that right. Oh, Laura, nothing to say. Now I'm afraid. Yes, be very, very, very afraid. If Jean gets quiet, it's time to be afraid. It's like, ooh, what is stewing in the mind that hasn't come out yet? Yes, that does not happen in my world. Oh, which you notice, it didn't last very long. Not that I'm saying anything real constructive now, but at least my hands are still being productive, which is nice because, and of course, I didn't put you back down. Do you like how I say that? I didn't put you guys back down. Are you moving? Do you feel yourselves moving when I put you down? Not put you down, that could be taken two ways. I'm not putting you down. I'm lowering your view. Oh, that's the one thing with American language. It can be taken so many ways and misconstrued in what someone is saying so easily. Because it seems like most of our things have multiple meanings. But I am anxious to complete this one and then see what my creative mind is going to come up with to actually do with it. I have a few things in mind, but we'll see what wins over. And I do still have work in this middle section where the roses are. I'm doing embellishing the roses with some embroidery stitching, so I do still have that portion to finish also. But it's easier to get at if all these edges and everything were attached down and not flopping over and trying to keep out of the way while stitching on that. So that is why I switched out to doing this portion, and then we'll go back to that section. It also takes a little bit more concentration because the stitches are a little bit more tedious that are being worked on them. Hello, Charlotte. I can barely see that with the screen down like it is, but oops. So that upper portion, I just sat here and completed the, now I can't see, we'll flip it back up a little. But I got the lines that we were talking about all done on that side while sitting here chatting with you. So just have the other side to do on the upper portion, and that will be done. We might actually get that part done later today, but I'm going to toss that over there because I am done with that for today. And somebody is sending up hearts. I'm not sure exactly who to, but whoever, we will thank you for the hearts. Making sure I didn't, yes, like hamburger fingers. That's what I call them. They start to look like, somebody said they look like hamburger meat one day to me, and I said, well, yep, that's pretty close. So, but, and that's why I use 2 fingers underneath, because I switch back and forth so that I don't have to stop as soon, because they do get sore. And everyone's saying hello there. Okay, we don't have anything written down there. I did say that I would show you what is the portion that I planned. Did I bring that over here? Oh, here it is. Okay. That I planned to have done this far. Someone else is working ahead of me. We'll let you guess who that is, but but anyhow, right now, what was in my plans were all of the embroidery sections are now traced, which that is the middle one with the words over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. But that portion of it is complete, and the other 2 panels are also all traced. There's a lot of tracing to this project for those of you that do have the pattern and are doing it along with me. I think that's in view, but that is all traced, which I'm not sure if that's the upper or lower portion. It is the lower section. And then the other one is also traced, and I believe this is grandmother's house on there. But that is the other section, all traced and ready to do the embroidery on, which my plan is to be working on the embroidery and the sections of the quilt at the same time. So that when it, I mean, I'm sure the sections of the quilt, which that is the pattern for those of you who haven't seen it, a lot of flying geese, and then the smaller flying geese on the points of those stars in there, and the alternate square and a square block. But that is the pattern that is over the river and through the woods that Debbie and I decided to work on together for Christmas in July. It was a pattern that I have had for a long time that she saw and was interested in doing. So that is how that came about. And then I have another gal, Rose, that comes over, and she was wanting to work on this also. So I mentioned that in one of the weeks in review, and there were a couple other people that said, ooh, they would like to do that. So it's not anything teaching, it's just sewing along, and I'll be showing parts of it as I work along on it. And there have been requests to show how to do flying geese. So I will be in the next Tip Demo Tuesday. I have the Eleanor Burns method. And of course, the ruler isn't going to show up. We got to find something plain with a plain color to hold it. But that is the Eleanor Burns ruler, which it has the exact sizes for this one that I will be showing how that is used. And I will put a link in there if I find one. I'm sure it is still available because there is still a site for purchasing Eleanor Burns Quilt in a Day things. And then did look last night because one of the other methods is the 4 at a time flying geese, which is also done with a special ruler. I will be showing that way. And this is still available on Amazon. It is a Lazy Girl Designs pattern for those of you that are familiar with her, but it is still available on Amazon. And I'm sure there are still quilt shops that carry that because that's how they do most of those. Are local quilt shops carry their items, so you can look and see if your local quilt shop has that, if you like how that is done when I show that. I'm sorry. I'm laughing at Christine's question. With anticipate your timeline will be for finishing Over the River. My always go-to answer to those type of questions are until it is done. But I do not a timeline because I only work on one project at a time. Not only because that's not the type of person I am, but because I have many things going that I have to do for other things that I show and do. So as far as anticipating a timeline on that, it will be done as quickly as I can get it done and as timely as I can. But I do foresee that, we called it Christmas in July, and it's no way it can be done in 1 month because there is a lot of work to that. Unless you're somebody that can only dedicate all your time to only that and work all day long, every day on it, then you might get it done in a month. But I foresee it taking, possibly until Christmas, right before Christmas to finish. I don't know because I don't know how much time I will get, to work on it in blocks of time. But I'm sorry I laughed at that. That's only because of me. Kathy says, I'm doing pretty good, Charlotte, my friend. How are you? Hello, Gladys. Welcome, welcome. I must have been busy when you popped on. I didn't see you. And Kathy's Quilt says, I have their ruler, Jean. Good. I've had it for a long time. It was given to me. I actually didn't purchase it. And Laura says, I will be logging off very soon as pizza time. Oh, I like pizza. Enjoy, Laura. Thank you. Cheers, Debs. And Gladys says, hello, everyone. And Charlotte is okay. I'm very tired from having company. I'm sorry, Laura. It's good to have company, but yes, they can tire you out. Bye all. Have a lovely weekend. Everyone, love, hugs. Thank you, Laura. You too. Have a great weekend. And Kathy says, yes, she can imagine having company is a lot of fun, but also a lot of work. Yes. Yes, more work than what we are normally used to. And Christine says, bah, ha, ha. I'd already hit send. LOL. Apparently today is a day that the thought rises up to the top and comes out without thinking. We all have those days and moments. Yes. Kathy knows that about me very well. That happens with me all the time, doesn't it, Kathy? It's like, whoops, did I just say that out loud? I know if you complete in 6 months, I'm not going to freak when it takes me a lot longer, LOL. Okay, yeah, it wouldn't, if it was all I was working on, there's no way it would take me 6 months. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not all I can dedicate my time to. And I know that the actual patchwork to it will not take me long. But with combining that with the embroidery work, it's going to take a little longer. And because I have the other things going that I have to do, I can't dedicate all my time to that. So I don't think it will really take until Christmas, but that's kind of, you know, getting a little lead time there. that hurts, okay? That did not feel good in the neck. But my plan, as you know, was to do this on last Tuesday's tip demo, but I wasn't able to do that because I could not move my head and everything to be able to do that. So the plan is to do it on this coming tip demo Tuesday, and hopefully I will be able to do that. So if not, it will be moved on to something else, but that is the plan, and hopefully I will be okay to do that. Okay, gotta take a drink. At least I can raise my head to do that now. I wasn't able to raise my head to take a drink either before. It sure does, Jean. LOL. Yep. I was going to say, Kathy knows how that works with me now and then. Oh, set that over there, out of my way. Get some of this stuff back to where it goes, which again, for those of you, I think most of you know that I did put up this to show that these are good reference ones. They are both the same. This is just newer print than this one. All the stitches are exactly the same. The instructions just has a different cover, and it's a little bit bigger than the other one. But the stitches are even on the same pages if I refer to the page number, which I did forget to give you. It's the chain stitch is on page 13 that we are doing today. It's like I'll move this over there, and it's like I'm going, well, where did my stitching go? I put it together to show you how it will form the book. Okay. Sometimes maybe you shouldn't be on new meds and going live, huh? But I think it's going okay for the most part. Just a few little glitches here and there that we can deal with, right? And now I am ready for the yellow. I don't think I have a yellow needle threaded. So we will do that. And go on with showing the chain stitch again. And of course, it's starting to get a little warm in here. I haven't turned the air on yet. Debbie's not here, so I can wait a little longer. You hear that, Debbie? Debbie and I don't have the same internal thermostat. I'm always hot. So I do try and accommodate my friends when they join me in the stitching cottage. So I will turn the air on sooner for her. Just a little joke between us. Debbie doesn't mind. She would mind if I didn't turn it on sooner, and sometimes I forget, and she sits there quietly and doesn't say anything. And then I realize, ooh, it's a little warm in here. By the time I think it's a little warm, it's really warm for her, so then I apologize. But you're quiet in the chat. And I'm going to tilt this down again. I can't see the chat as well when I do that. I can see if it moves, so I can pick it up. But on the chain stitch, you're starting right at the very, very beginning of your line. You can see my needle up there. And you're just coming up. Debbie Williams is showing something hot, I can see. And then you are taking your needle and going, you're making a loop underneath it as you do that, but you are going down in the same stitch. And I'm going to leave it down here. And I will bring my needle up so you see. That is the actual position of your needle. The thread is kept down below the needle, and you are going to make a loop and catch it. So that as you bring it up, you're catching that loop just like that. And then your next stitch goes right in where you made that loop, right next to where you came up. You're going back down to make the next stitch. And it, whoops, I missed my line. I don't like that, so we're coming back up on my line. And you just continue doing that, and it looks just like a chain. Goodness gracious. And I know that Kathy just said great balls of fire in her head after I said that. Oh, maybe some others of you did too. And you can make your stitch as small or big as you want for whatever you are using it for. And as was asked earlier, I work down. If it is more comfortable for you to work the other direction, yes, you can do this stitch going the opposite direction and working up instead. For me, it just works better going down. We'll bring that, and you can see all 3 rows there and what that stitch actually looks like. Looks just like a chain. If you did it in a metallic thread, it would look like a chain for a necklace. Which would be cute on a slow stitch project. I'll have to remember that. One of the ones that I'm doing at the family, I might have to use that idea to embellish so it looks like they are wearing a necklace. You suppose I'll remember that? I think I will. Right now, I think I will. But that would be a great place to use this stitch. This is a variegated thread that I'm using, so it is changing as I go, because it's getting to a lighter section right now. Oops, and whoa, we got a knot in our thread. Have to undo that. That's not wanted, and I see that there's something in there. I'll get to that in just a second. Trying to get this knot out, and of course it doesn't want to go. Don't know how we got that. Christine says, my plan is to complete the baby quilt I started 2 weeks ago. Get it quilted and binding finished. hubby coming home so he can walk across the street with me. I have major anxiety meeting neighbors. I can understand that totally, Christine. And this knot does not want to come out. Normally when you pull on them one way or the other, it'll pop and come undone, but because I'm live and what happened earlier, we've got a knot that doesn't want to come out either. So now I have to play with it with my needle for who knows on how long to try and get it to come out instead, because I really don't want to cut my thread. But that would probably be the quicker way. I just don't know where I want to cut it at. I'm going to undo this and see which one is coming. Okay. I'm going to cut it because we're not going to fool with it. And we can fix it. I am fixing this. I had to cut that, so now I have to thread this so I can finish that stitch and not lose the work that I have gotten done because of a knot that would not come out. That is down there. I'm just seeing it funny. Now I lost my needle. Did anybody watch where I put my needle? It's like it disappeared. We will use this one and then the other one will show up. Well, it's on the needle threader. Can you believe that? I'm looking for my needle. Can you see where it is? It's on the needle threader. Are you laughing yet? And you have how many needle monsters? You had it in your hand, LOL. I know. Isn't that funny? Oh, at least I showed you all and didn't try to cover it up. That is too funny. Oh, my. I'm glad I'm not going to be on this medication forever. That's a good one. Look all over for your needle, and it was still actually in my hand at the time I was looking for it. Yes. Oh, so now I am just going to take, because I had to cut that thread and it's not long enough to do anything else with, I'm going to end the stitch that I was on and make my knot on the back. All right, darling, you didn't have to get that big a laugh out of it, but that was pretty good. I think it was you that actually saw me put my little gripper tip on the wrong finger and the thimble on the wrong finger and backwards last night also. Oh, mercy. The things we can do. Very good. Yes, now I'm looking for my scissors and they're laying right here. Okay. I look for my glasses and they are on my head. Yes, I have done that. My teacher always tells me to put it in a pin cushion. Well, it was there, but I was threading it and it was in the needle threader. Oh, I did look in all the things that I stick them in here, which I am using the actual thread balls as my pin cushion right now. And I looked in all them, but it was actually in the needle threader because that is what I was doing, was threading it. And right now I am putting it where I left off working, right there. So I have it when I go back to that. Oh. And Christine says, or on the phone with my sister and freaking because I'm on the way out the door and I can't find my phone. Oh, yes, Christine, we are too much alike. She says, what are you talking to me on? Yeah, I was talking to a friend and I said, I can't find my phone. I mean, I was talking to her on the phone, yes. And I said, I can't find my phone. I'm looking all, I said, it's not where it's supposed to be. Where's my phone? And she says, well, I don't think it can be very far. I did that with my sister one time too. I said, oh, where's my phone? Can't find my phone. And she said, you're talking on it. And Glenda says she's been there too. Yeah, that is really funny. Really funny when we do that. But I was looking for my glasses and my tape measure one time, a long time ago, when I used to do Facebook lives before I was doing YouTube. And my glasses were on my head and the tape measure was around my neck. And I was looking all over for them, wondering where they were. So yes, those things do happen. But right now we will again keep your fingers crossed because the first attempt did not go as planned. Got through it, but it was not as planned. We will go on once more to the crochet stitch of the week. And of course, this is on the extra row of half double crochet that I was having you do after it. So I am actually, and I will take this out afterwards, but I work some. So I'm going to turn right here in the middle and work this shorter section that I did on that row. But we're doing half double crochet in the back loop or the third loop. It's called both things. Glad you feel better, Jean. And it is only temporary. Oh, yes, yes, yes. But we are going to do our yarn over. We are going to go in. And this time, where'd it go? We are going to work and I don't understand. There is something. In the back loop, but my back loop is on this side. We are going in this way. That is what I was doing. Okay. Catching that and bringing it up. Alrighty. That's what I've been doing wrong all this while. Okay, there is that back loop. And you will see it on the back to where you are going under that back loop. Oh, it is funny. I didn't realize that earlier. And you are bringing your hook under it. So you're bringing that third loop up. And it is actually making a ridge on the other side of your work, which makes it a decorative stitch then. You can see where they are on these two rows that we've already done there and there. And that's why you do the other, because you want that decorative part all to be on the same side of your stitching. Of course, unless you're doing something in the round, then you would do it on both because you want it to always show up on that side. But you're just going in your stitch, picking up that back loop, which is at the bottom, and then yarn over and through all three. Going in your stitch, picking up that back loop. And if you notice, you're going in from the front instead of the back, picking up that loop. And that's what makes the ridge. So instead of going in this way that you normally would, you're going in that front and catching that bottom loop. That is the third loop. Works so much easier when you do it correctly. Going in the front, catching the back loop, and continuing the stitch. And it just kind of pushes forward there and up. The last one, of course, is always a little bit more difficult to get into, which I lost it there. Lost it because there's not another one holding your work there. So that one's a little tighter. And we've got it. So when you turn it around, that is what it will look like. You've got the ridge going all along there. And that makes for a nice decorative stitch. But that is all the section of that I work. So I will be taking that apart and working it all the way across through there before I do that and continue on. Yeah, laughing at Christine. All right, everyone was quiet while I was doing that, which maybe that was it. And that's why it came out so much easier and correctly that time. I was not thinking right at all when I did that earlier. But so we have done both of those for the second time. I have filled in with the slow stitch and showed you some of that today. So I hope that you enjoyed seeing some of the things, and those that are doing the embroidery stitch of the week and crochet stitch of the week were here and got that. And also enjoyed the information on the slow stitching that I did today. Like I said, on the weeks that we don't work on the block of the month, I will always throw in something extra during that time. I don't think you can get these hooks anymore. They used to be sold at Hobby Lobby. I know this shows blue on the screen, but it's actually a beautiful purple that Sandra K would love. And of course, the color goes by what size it is. You don't get a choice on that. But I believe it was a Yarnspirations hook at the time, but I don't think they're selling them anymore. So I don't know where else you would be able to get them because they were sold only at Hobby Lobby. I've always used the older ones. Yeah, and I can't think of the name of the brand that is my favorite. And that is the thing that I was supposed to find and include in the description box last time and forgot. So let me write that down. And I will leave the name of what are my favorite ones and what I normally use. And I will look and see if they still have these, but I don't believe they're selling them anymore. But I will leave the link to what are the ones, because I can't think of the name of them right now, that I normally do use. How many rows are we doing? You are doing first a row of the half double crochet in the back loop. And then you are going to do a row of regular half double crochet so that you will end up with your next stitch being on the right side again. And then you will do another row of the half double crochet in the back loop only. Thank you for asking that. Yeah. So it'll be three rows total, but the middle row will be regular half double crochet so that you end up having the pattern decorative stitch on the same side of your work. Thank you, Carol, for that question. Yeah, but when I look off to the side, I have a monitor that I watch my husband on while I'm out here, because that's who I am the caretaker of. He had to be a little bit of a caretaker for me yesterday. That doesn't work out too well. Oh, but you deal with what you have at hand to work with. Okay, so if there are no other questions, like I said, I think I will end up from now on, this will be probably 3 hours instead of 4 hours long, because I just work quicker, I guess, than what I imagined, and there really isn't enough to be doing to fill the 4 hours. So it will be a 3 hour, and if I'm doing something that goes over, that's okay. But I will just put it as a 3 hour time span instead of a 4 hour. And so then, of course, Clover Armor hooks is what I found on Google. Yes, it is the Clover Armor hooks that are my favorite. They are really comfortable. They are really good. They just work well and feel good in the hand. But those are, Christine, those are my favorite, and that is what I normally use. But for some reason, I could not find my larger size hooks. So I think they are probably in a crochet project somewhere and not in the folder that I leave them in. So I will probably end up ordering them again, getting duplicates, and then they'll show up, because that's how life works, right? It is tough, but you are a sweet, kind wife. Well, thank you. Thank you. I think I am. My husband, for the most part, I think thinks I am, but of course there are times I'm sure he doesn't think that. And vice versa, but we know how that runs, don't we? But yeah. And well, we just won't go on. We won't go on with that, but yeah. So, but sometimes you might see me reach up because I have to change to a different camera, because he changes the room that he's in. So, and sometimes he likes to play with the camera as a trick and do some things. But yes, Clover are not these, but the Clover Armor are the ones that I have changed to and that I do like. But of course, everyone has different tastes and feels when it comes to their crochet hooks too. But I do have osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, and I have psoriatic arthritis. So I do have problems with my hands, and this hook works very well for if you have arthritic hands. I also have trigger finger. That finger doesn't like to undo itself. I have to flick it with my other finger to get undone. But so yeah, I have found that the armor hooks feel really, really good in my hands. So, okay, so that ends this session for this week. Thank you all very, very, very much for coming on. Denise, popped on just in time to say hello to everyone. Sorry, we are at the end of our time for today. I have gone over everything on the stitches twice and have filled in the middle with some stuff on slow stitching today. So you can always go back and watch the replay and get all of that information. But I will be back next week, of course, again on Friday. The next that you will have coming up is the Week in Review on Sunday, where I share through a recorded video everything that I have done throughout the week and give some hints on maybe some things that I may be doing in the near future. And then on Monday, I have my morning coffee stitch and chat, which is just a casual stitch and chat, usually in the recliner walker over in my hand stitching area, working on some hand stitching while we just stitch and chat and have a good time catching up with everyone. And then Tuesday is Tip Demo Tuesday, which is also recorded. And there's no certain time during the day that is uploaded. It is just when I am able to get around to doing it. And always drop the links, of course, to everything in my Facebook group when they are up and ready to view. So Denise is saying hello to Kathy. Don't forget to call your insurance and or your Social Security, giving her a little reminder there. And Glenda says, thank you, Jean, for doing this for us. Enjoyed it so much. Thank you very much. Kathy is saying goodbye to everyone. Yes, and have a great weekend, everyone. And remember, in the meantime, I can keep you in stitches. Bye-bye, everyone.